Then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and in the sea, and all that is in them, singing, "To the one seated on the throne and to the Lamb be blessing and honor and glory and might forever and ever. Alleluia, Christ is risen.
Christ is risen indeed. Alleluia.
This short passage from Revelation that Alex read today is the end of a scene that John the Revelator has been painting for 2 chapters. As quickly as he is caught up in his vision in the heavenly throne room, John points to the throne itself. It's not empty. Eugene Boring says, quote, "The ultimate future is not an item of information to be analyzed, but a person to be encountered." When John writes in early chapter 4, we're at the end of chapter 5 today, and writes today, "the one who sits on the throne," John is talking about God, of course. Alongside that, though, he's telling the church throughout all time that despite whatever chaos they're living through, God is in control. The throne is not empty, and neither chaos nor fate have the final say. This is the throne of God and the Lamb, Jesus, the resurrected Christ. These are not 2 competing images or of 2 people competing to sit on the throne at the same time. The way we know God is through Jesus, God who was willing to give up himself to join us in time and space, and God who was willing to undergo death, but whose love could not be defeated in death. This is the Lamb being called worthy in today's passage. In the chaoses that we're living in, I'm glad that the throne of all creation isn't empty. Tonight, we have discernment dinners where you will talk about the future of this congregation. We have an all-congregation meeting on June 1st where you will be asked which of the previously presented options for our futures you're most willing and committed to working for. Outside our walls, chaos and uncertainty seem to be something of the point. Are the tariffs taking effect for real this time, or will they be delayed again? Do the words of the Constitution concerning birthright citizenship mean what they clearly say, or don't they? Will the plain language and centuries of tradition concerning the government entering private property for search and seizure be respected, or won't it? Protesters are being disappeared and whisked away to Louisiana because of their speech, because of how they challenge imperialism, and gangs can just be appointed as allegedly part of another country's government. As the Secretary of Defense tweets one thing and the Justice Department argues from the other side of its mouth to judges, the chaos and the uncertainty seem almost to be the point. I'm reminded of when I talked about neo-kayfabe on Palm Sunday, where nothing is true except the parts you want to be in that moment. John's vision of the end of the world offers hope and comfort. As John writes about the throne room, he writes about ultimate reality. The ultimate future is not an item of information to be analyzed, but a person to be encountered. What makes us skittish about Revelation, I think, is how much pop eschatology and those predicting the end of the world have been so loud. We have a hard time reading the text and might rather avoid it because of how we think about it in the zeitgeist. But that surrender is a part of the Christian story that is good news for the whole world. When we think only about the judgments that John foretells, we miss the ultimate goals of the letter. Asking the church who it will serve until Jesus' return, and making very clear what victory looks like for God. John looks, and he hears the voice of many angels surrounding the throne and the living creatures and the elders. He looks and he hears them singing with full voice, "Worthy is the Lamb that was slaughtered to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing." Worthy is the Lamb that was slaughtered, not worthy is a lion about to destroy everything in its wake. Eugene Boring clarifies, conquering for the Christ and for Christians means no more or less than dying. It never in Revelation designates any destructive judgment on the enemies of Christ or Christians. Jesus stood before the Roman court, was faithful unto death, and this was his victory and his reign. For Christians, what it means to win has been redefined by the cross of Jesus. That's what brings us to our 4 verses from Revelation today, where the whole creation, the entirety of the cosmos, joins in singing the worthiness of the Lamb. Alleluia, Christ is risen.
Christ is risen indeed. Alleluia.
Every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and in the sea and all that is in them sing praises to Jesus, the crucified and resurrected Christ. The vision of Revelation is one where God's mighty love has triumphed. And the image of winning isn't an AI image of yourself on a throne for which you are not qualified to sit. The vision of Revelation is one where the entirety of the cosmos has known the love of the Lamb and has been restored to unity through God's almighty love. No one and nothing is left out of this vision of reconciliation. Yes, right now is pretty chaotic, and we don't know how much the chaos will increase, or maybe sometimes lessen. Outside our walls, chaos and uncertainty seem to be something of the point. Yet even when we leave this building to do the work God has given us to do, the one who sits on the throne and who has made himself fully known in Jesus, the slaughtered Lamb, is still there on the throne. Christ is risen from the dead, trampling down death by death, and upon those in the tombs bestowing life. Wearied by the cares and occupations of this life, we have a throne of grace to look at, as past and future are collapsed into the ultimate, eternal worship of God. As we join our holy, holy, holy Lord to the eternal chorus, we join the whole reconciled creation in singing, "Worthy is the Lamb that was slaughtered to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing. Alleluia, Christ is risen."